working on this one. This isn't the phone. I wish I could get this working, but no. Definitely not. No. There it is. The Umidigi Bison x10. So I gave this phone to my kid a little over a year ago, maybe 2, and he had it for about 6 months, and he dropped it right on its face and broke the screen. So today, what I'm planning on doing is taking this replacement LCD and replacing the broken screen on this device. So I'm going to be using just a couple tools. There are some tools in the box that hopefully I can take advantage of. I'm also going to have a heat gun and this metal spludger. Now, I normally don't recommend using a metal spludger when replacing a screen, but considering I'm not worried about this screen coming off and I'm going to need some definite leverage, we're going to try this as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this repair. All right, the first thing to do is to find out what is in this box. We have a simple set of screwdrivers with some plastic spludgers and some guitar picks. A decent looking screwdriver with a Phillips head, because there are some screws that we have to take out in here to remove a ribbon cable. A very handy suction cup to hold on to the screen, hopefully. And our replacement LCD. Now you see that there's just a ridge here for glue. And then a ribbon cable here. Now, interestingly enough, what I do not see in this package is adhesive. But that's okay, because I have adhesive of my own. So this is what's gonna be replacing this. First thing I'm gonna do is get this screen as clean as I can so I can get as good a grip as possible. Looking, this is the top, and this is where our ribbon cable is, so we have to be careful not to pull anything too far up here, or else we could break the existing ribbon cable. I am going to start down here. This out of the way. We start down here, and we're starting at about 190 degrees. Just going along the edges and trying to heat everything up. We've got to find a lip of some sort to get underneath. I'm going to change the temperature on this to 200. Let's see if we can't find some sort of edge in here.
Hours later.
Here we go. So now, that might not seem like much, but I can get something in there to work with. It's going to be a very, very messy repair. I will tell you, the plastic tools that they send you will not work. I will end up fast forwarding through this part, I'm sure. I'm going to pause so I can clean up. Okay, so now that we're cleaned up, you can notice here that I've destroyed this ribbon cable, but that went to the old screen. So what we have to do is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that I can see, and hopefully the right size driver. Ah, apologies. This is I think how we get into the phone. I'm not 100% sure. So after a lot of research, I think that what we're going to have to do is get inside the back to take some screws off. So we've got our front off here. I couldn't find any screws down here. There were actual screws. There are some screws on the side, but I think those just hold on the side pieces. So we're going to try to carefully do this because I don't have a replacement back. We've got our little edge started. I'm not 100% concerned with the appearance of this device because it's just going to be something we keep around the house as an extra device. But I'm trying to do a clean job, especially on the back piece, since I don't have a replacement. Just trying to give it a little heat, not forcing too much of the metal spludger because I don't really know what's underneath here. I really don't know what this back is made out of. I'm going to try to start the other side. Again with the same technique. Not a lot of pressure, just hopefully enough to get the glue separated from the two pieces. And if you're wondering, yes, this is really hard to do with just two hands. Back around. Here we go. That's why that was so hard to get off. All of this is glue. Now, we have a ton of screws here. That I think need to come out so that we can get to the front. Because the ribbon cable that broke tucks underneath a board or a plate in the phone. And all this is going to have to be cleaned up as well, so that we can put the back on again. A very durable phone, and one that I was actually going to try to review for the channel. So if that is something you guys would be interested in hearing about, if that is something you guys would be interested in knowing about, leave me a comment in down below. Just leave a comment down below. All right, then our last little sticker is the void warranty sticker, which I think we are well past that. Okay. would appear that we have yet another layer of glue. And we do have yet one more layer of glue. Now, if you're keeping up at home, I think that is the third layer of adhesive tape / glue. But again, this thing is supposed to be very durable and very water resistant. Now, I think all of these have to come out, because that's where our display cable goes. There's our display cable that is taped to the back of the battery. That's an interesting move. Our cables for the battery. Definitely going to try to use a plastic pry on this. This seems to be just slightly adhesed. There was some tape here holding it on, it appears. So now more screws. It doesn't even look like we need to remove the battery, so I'm going to put that back in. We do have more screws to take out here. Before I started this, I just want you to know that I did do what any sane person would do, is I researched this on the internet, looked it up on YouTube, as a matter of fact, to try to find out how to fix the screen. And yeah, every tutorial shows nothing about what I'm doing right now. So we've got this little fella here that's got to come up. And more tape. Okay. So now we can finally take off those two things. And there's our old screen. Putting the rubber grommet back in for the front-facing camera. Oh. So now we need to get ourselves situated on the front. We need to take the new display. Well, first I'm going to go back over this. Now, we need to take these two cables and fish them through those holes. Just like that. One connects there. One connects there. Put our battery back together. Then put our power buttons in place. Now we test. Always a good idea to test before you put everything back together. That's good. So that works. The only thing I haven't tested is the touch screen portion, but I'm kind of hoping that the rest of it works. Now that we've gotten that far, let's undo those ribbon cables. Gently remove everything so that I can peel the backing off this adhesive. I'm going to use the same tape that they gave us to hold everything down. We've got that in place. I'll clean up the glue, the excess later. Let's put our speaker port back in place. Now that that's back in place, we're going to check one more time for power. We are charging. Okay, good. So now we've got this layer, which is our camera layer, and it needs its own glue. Now we're going to double check. Sure everything's in correctly. Looks good. Thanks for sticking with me as long as you have. Going into this, I did not realize this was going to be this big of a project, but I am having fun, and hope you are too. Trying to get the lip off of that so that we can pull all that around. Make sure everything's in place. And now we screw the back on. I understand now why this device is so thick. I don't think it really needs to be this thick, but if you are going to design something that's supposed to be very impervious to the elements, and a rugged device, I guess it just needs to be thick. All right, so with this back, I've got a bunch of this adhesive here that needs to come off. Thankfully, the back is plastic and not glass. This would be a lot easier with some nail polish remover or isopropyl alcohol, neither of which I currently have. So lesson number 2 in this build is preparation. Have your supplies ready. Lesson number 1 would be research, I guess. You know what you're getting into. And lesson number 3 is making sure you've got all of your parts in line. Because as you can see, I've left out something kind of important. We missed this shield. I say we, but obviously I mean me, because you're just hopelessly along for the ride. All right, and now that we've got all of our screws in, the screen on, it's time to put this back on. This has got a little bit of glue on there. I'm not terribly worried about it. I'm just trying not to scratch up the paint that they put on the inside of the device, and you can see that I've done that right around one edge there. But like I said before, this device is never going anywhere. This was just an experiment to see if I could replace the screen. Since it looks like I can, we're not going to worry too much about the aesthetics of the device. It'll be something that I can use when I'm doing yard work or not wanting to carry around my more expensive devices. Or for when the oldest eventually breaks the phone he's using now. Just going to put some tape along the edges in a similar fashion to the way that they had it before. There's a couple of extra pieces in the middle to hold it down. Peel the backing. And with that, this project is done. Well, there you have it. I've replaced the screen on this Umidigi Bison X10. It was quite a challenge, as you saw. It's probably a project I don't know if it would be worth it at this point. The screen was only $26 on Amazon, so I thought I'd give it a try. And now we have a really good backup device if anybody needs one in the house. I will have links to all the products used in this video in case you decide to try this project yourself. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I have making it. I'm Bryant. This is Reviews for Nerds. Have a great day.